Hello and welcome back to the channel, and thank you for joining me in another of my wonderful interviews. Now, I don't know about you, you probably have noticed that we have a bit of a farming crisis at the moment. We have some very strange weather going on. A lot of farmers are complaining that their crops are not growing quite as well as they should do. And yet there is some knowledge that's now coming to the fore that it seems to have been around in the past, that people have perhaps don't really know about, but perhaps they ought to, because the knowledge is going to help people, especially like you and I, who are interested in getting back to the land, to growing stuff to maximum capacity. You may be one of those people who've seen some very old photographs with big cabbages and large lettuces and marrows that people carry in wheelbarrows and think, oh, that must be a load of old nonsense because they don't really grow that big, do they? Well, think again. Today I'm very excited to bring to my show two wonderful people who know very much about electroculture. This is a hidden knowledge that is now being shown to the world again and will be of great advantage to all of us. So without further ado, let me bring on these wonderful two people. They come from Italy. Their outfit is called Electroculture, if I have got the Italian correct, but it's electroculture to you and I. So let me firstly introduce Francesco, and then we'll talk to Andrea. Francesco, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello,
Welcome to the show.
hello, Richard. Thank you so much for having me us in your show, and
It's
it is absolutely a pleasure to be here.
it's a pleasure to have you. We've had a few technical issues before we started recording, so fingers crossed everything is going well. Um, Electroculture is it is this old knowledge that seems to have disappeared, isn't it?
Is absolutely. In fact, when later Andrea will speak, will talk, we'll explain how everything started from old books we found and old things, and then obviously we have been much deeper in the subject, and a lot of things that just appearing from our past. And but
Ama-
really a lot of things, mainly everything. We have just been literally re-updating and things that were already existing. Then Andrea has done an incredible work as managing to combine different techniques, and it has been a lot of scientific work behind it. But the basic has been taken from the past, literally, yes.
Well, I'm particularly interested because at some point I'm hoping to get onto the land myself and start growing things, and anything that gives us a bit of an advantage or a head start is going to be good. I guess to a lot of people, this whole notion of the electric side of it, using what the ether is it that you take into the soil, will be a bit, well, new for one thing, and perhaps people may be a bit skeptical, but I'm sure that you're going to put our mind at ease and tell us how it works and why it works.
Absolutely, but to be honest, to go with this, I would leave I would leave the to Andrea the duty to share a bit more in
Well,
detail of what is going on exactly with electroculture.
Well, that's really, really good. We're going to talk to Andrea in a second then.
Yeah,
And just to say, you're at the moment based in this country. And for people, when they've seen the presentation, if they want to get in touch and find out more, go on some of the courses that you've got, etc., and join you. You're the man in the UK to talk to.
that's correct. We There is an existing website which is very big, and with on the slides there are all the details. And basically, this website it refer directly to Andrea in Italy. I am here in England as I'm the let's call it the English branch. So I'll be here for anyone who wants more information or more details to know in workshops, and they can come and refer to me. I'm going to leave my email address on with you on the comments, possibly.
Yeah, we'll put it
So
in the description.
excellent. So basically, the people can contact me, but I will do everything, and I will refer constantly and always to Andrea because he's the movement in Italy is the main. I'm still a student. I'm still following them as really. Andrea is light years ahead of wherever I
Fantastic.
am
Well,
in my path.
let's talk to Andrea because he is waiting patiently on the line. Hello, Andrea.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure, and
It's
so good to talk to a good audience in UK, and thanks to Francesco, Andrew, all the guys. So we want to spread the knowledge, and let's start
yes.
with the presentation or a little intro.
Absolutely. I was going to say, so we've got some slides. We're going to show the slides, and Andrea's going to talk us through it. And I'm very keen. So I shall be operating the slides from this end. Andrea will just let me know when he wants to change the slides. So it's over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So let's start. We want to do a little introduction and just to explain some basic concept. So let's go on. We can combine all the technology application with different solution. Francesco, if you want to introduce again just a few minutes about your you are the peer in UK, okay? So you are our contacts. I suggest everybody eventually to come to you. But there are
Yeah.
a lot of free contents, free podcast, video that you can start with, and in any case, we have the UK branches. So, all
Fantastic.
right.
And you can see there's a picture of a smiling version of me there when I met Francesco only a week or so ago in Suffolk. And so we had a lovely time. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, and Andrew, we did the first pilot project, let's say, together. And
Yes.
Francesco, do you want to add some comments of the recent result as well? Because it's very
Yes,
important to focus on results. Huh?
absolutely, which are absolutely the result. They're really amazing. We done last Monday and Tuesday, so literally 10 days ago. We prepare more some raised bed, and we put some paramagnetic rocks and a couple of antennas. All our precision. The result is that 10 days later, everything we put down, all the seeds, the sprouting, everything is out already.
Wow.
Yes,
That,
completely.
that
Yes, 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 absolutely.
fantastic. So it was so exciting then to be able to watch it unfold, especially for people in this country.
Yeah.
Yes,
So one
sorry, Andrea, go on, go on.
no one of the objective of electroculture is to speed up all the process, to have stronger plants, bigger plants, and more nutrients. That's very important. We need to eat very good food. I started because my intention was to be more self-sufficient. That's my main reason. And then I discovered a lot of other very incredible things. And now
Wow.
we can show more. We can continue in the presentation. So let's move on. I started in 2012 when I was making my food forest for self-sufficiency. And in the first 6 years, I did more or less over 6,000 experiments with electroculture and permaculture combined. And I had very incredible results. Like I'm in the mountain in Italy between Florence and Bologna at 1,000 meters. So my climate it's very cold, and I've been able to have 3 harvests of potato per years. That's very fun because normally people here they do only one.
Right,
uh,
right.
and then I had friends from the permaculture movement coming in my garden and where they were really surprised. Andrea, how could be that you have peaches? How could be that you have asparagus at 1,000 meter or 3 times potatoes? It's very unusual. Can you
Mm.
explain us what you do exactly? So I started to write the article, write some in some magazine, teach in the permaculture academy, and that was the beginning. So 12 years ago, it's fun. Let's move on in the story. We can move on to the next slide. So I wrote some free ebook that people can download in the website electrocultureuk. or electro-cultura.com. And I have documented more experience, written more articles in eco-sustainable magazines, organic magazines, permaculture. In Nexus, I wrote article in Nexus, and I work also with Geomantica. That's a very cool magazine. It's online. We can move to the next one. And Geomantica, it's driven by Alana Moore. Alana Moore, she's living in Ireland, but originally from Australia. And Francesco organizing a workshop. When is the workshop, Francesco, in the UK?
Correct, Andrea. Is the 7th and 8th of September in the near Norwich. So if anyone is interested, just get in contact. It's very small number because Alana doesn't do big groups. So we are already halfway through. So it's about
Wow.
30 people, and we got already 15 on board. So I believe after this interview, the places that will
Yeah,
be gone.
so it's important that we combine multiple technique. So to underline, in my case, I'm combining permaculture with electroculture, and we call energetic permaculture farming. Like in this article I wrote 4 years ago in Geomantica, I was describing the approach. And so let's moving on to the next, and this is some of the books from Alana Moore that she's very well known for the sensitive permaculture. She
Mm.
developed a lot of new angles from permaculture, working with the energy of the places, the geomancy part of the planetary, so water energy, sky energy, earth energy, and including also spiritual parts of the environment. And that was included in the permaculture design. It's a new layer that
Yeah.
you can take in consideration to optimize your place, to create a really harmonic environment where you can make your own food and be more self-sufficient, independent, and resilient. That's the objective of this approach.
No, that sounds amazing, and this is all quite relatively. I mean, it's old. It's old knowledge, but you know, it's just really beginning to percolate into the common parlance, as it were. People are slowly beginning to understand the connection between energy and food and life vitality.
Yeah, that's correct because like we can improve the plant's life with the water, the soil, the environment, our connection. It's the same for us. We can have a better living, we can have a better wellness, great place if we work and we eat good food, good water, good social relations, and we create this harmony for a better life at the end of the day.
That's it. It's what we all want.
Yeah, so let's move on. We created the academy a couple of years ago. Academy has the objective to teach people to go deeper in electroculture, geobiology, free energy, radiesthesia, combining all these methods, all these topic, in order to create special places. I call energetic island or bioenergetic gardens or super horticulture place where we can live, we can have super food, and we can really enjoy and reconnect with the nature, because at the end, one of the important things is to be conscious that we are coming from the nature. We need to create the connection again, and this is improving the place, is improving the productivity, our energy, and it's a life cycle. So it's cool, and I decided to teach all this knowledge. I create a school, and in the next year we can move in the next slide. We had more students, and even Francesco remotely is teaching, is learning. And now we can do project design, implementation, even remotely, like we did for Andrew. We did the pilot project showcasing what we can do. All these documents, all this stuff are online, so even people can learn online. We can use the technology for for a good reason to teach
Mm.
people to expand the knowledge, and we are very results oriented. That's so important for me
Yes.
to showcase the potential, the possibility we can leverage. So let's move on because I would like to show. You can find articles on Nexus Germany, and this will be if you set your browser, you can read in English. So there are a couple of very recent articles. I suggest people can get through and they can learn more. I have explained many techniques, my history, my approach in these articles. And let's move on. I learn also a lot through online education. So for me, it was important to learn multiple technique, working in harmony with nature. I love permaculture. All the approaches are eco-sustainable, are in respect of the nature. So I've decided to study, to learn, and also to give my contribution to several projects. I really suggest people use this tool like Kickstarter to go deeper, to learn, and to support also other people that are tracking new ways to showcase the possibility we have. So Kickstarter it was a very important stage for me to learn and combine my experience. We can move on. And this is a project in Sweden, for instance, how you can create a very sustainable farm in a small space because we don't need hectares, acres. We just need a small space, very good energy, very good food, rotation, planning, and then you can do a lot in a small space.
And
Like
that's a very important message, I think, particularly at the moment where land prices are very expensive and people can't afford large places. So that's a really good message that people can take on board. They don't need to buy hundreds of acres. Um,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Richard, to underline because we really don't need big space. It's very heavy to manage big space. And in this journey, when you create the connection with nature, if you have a big space, you cannot create a personal feeling
Hmm.
with your plants, animals. So we can manage, and we need to learn step by step. We need to learn in small scale, and then we can expand.
Right.
So I suggest you to start small.
And if
I
I can add something very briefly, because of the quality also the we getting from this food, it's really the quantity we need is less because it's so nutrient that we actually need less food to eat less because whatever we eat, it gets enough because it's much
Yes.
more is really more energized, let's say, food. So it give us more. So we need
Yes.
less,
Yes.
literally.
And I mean what's interesting you say there is a lot of people go to the supermarket and they buy food with very little nutrients and anything in it, no vitamins, and they're
Zero.
still hungry and the body's and so they're spending more and more money buying basically rubbish
Water,
and
water and hormones, water and hormones. That's all that you buy in a supermarket, literally. It's,
there you go. Yeah, especially over here, our supermarkets are rather full of sugar and chemicals.
correct.
But
yeah,
anyway,
and then you can feel a real taste that you probably had when you were a child.
yes,
I have a lot of memories of the perfumes, the taste of this fruit from my grandfather. orchard, and that's incredible because you go back in the memory and you realize, okay, I want to eat this food. I want to know where the food is coming. I want to take care of the soil, of the earth, to create my resilience and my self-sufficiency, because honestly we need to know where the food is coming, and we need,
Yes.
especially now
yeah,
in this story, in this historical moment.
and it,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, and then when you eat this superfood, you really feel better. You really eat less because you have given to the soil new minerals, new life with microorganisms, and finally the cycle continues.
That's,
So
yeah.
so important. I'm basing a lot of my approaches on permaculture, and that's another project I supported to translate the books from Bill Mollison in Italian. And even like in the next slide, we did it for children. I had 3 children. And I wanted to teach them the permaculture principle, the way we can reconnect with nature, with
Mm.
respect, harmony, and to understand that's very important that we start from children as well at the school.
Well, if you do it with children, they grow with it, don't they? They know that for the rest of their life.
And they
Yeah,
will be the next generation. So
Absolutely.
so
Very
agree.
important.
So moving on, there are a lot of podcasts I recorded in English, German, Italian, of course. So one of the sources you can find more, it's the podcast. So look for Andrea Donnelly Electrocultura podcast, but we will share the link in the
Yes, yes. If you give, make sure I've got the link and I'll put it in the description. So no problem there.
and Francesco is the peer, so can put through the right links, the right way. This
Yeah.
is one way if you like podcast, or if you move on. There are also courses that we recorded, so there are online courses. There are a lot of free content, but we have 8 hours basic courses, 10 hours advanced courses, and we have also created some starter kits that you can start to play in your house or in the garden, in the orchard. So we have all the tool to play, because at the end it's important to be practical and to make practical approaches so you can see how plants can grow faster, germination can be improved with little tools like
Mm.
pyramids, like Lakoski coil, spirals, or antennas. These are some of the electroculture tools, basic tools. So moving on, we have also all the full English courses. So we have multiple languages, but also fully English. It's very new. And then moving on, we have books. Okay, I have written a book, finding all the patents of electroculture, and I have translated all the patents that were in France. They were in France, and then I have reproduced all the patents and recreated all the experiments to show that the technology works. That's very important. So
Yes.
we have this book, Electrocultural Patents. That is another way you can learn more. And we have reproduced all the patents. And like in the next slide, you can understand a little bit more about electroculture. So a brief introduction. We have two techniques mainly. What I call passive or natural electroculture is the way I teach, Francesco teach, and it's only with natural energy. So sun, sky, telluric energy, acupuncture of the soil, using paramagnetic rocks. All these techniques are natural energy. Or like in the past, especially in UK and in USA, they used and they are still using AC DC devices. But in
So,
my
so,
vision, yeah, excuse me.
so the AC and D, so that's generated electricity that we would generate ourselves, as opposed to the natural energy from the earth.
Exactly. But from my vision, I really prefer to use natural energy. I
Right.
have very big results, very strong, astonishing results,
I
and
see.
I don't want to depend on utilities, or I
No.
don't want to waste the electricity I can make with solar panel or other techniques.
Yes.
I want to be free.
Absolutely, as we all do.
Yes.
So the preference is to be free. We have a lot of energy available from the sun. Imagine the magnetic field is something very natural. We take a compass and we see the arrow is going to the north. There's like a river. It's an energetic field, and we can use the energetic field to increase the growth of the plants. They are very sensible to the magnetic field, and we can stimulate the plants with simple magnets to increase the magnetic field, increase the germination rate, the growth, and the plants, when they are so stronger, they develop very big roots, and they can stock more vitamin, minerals, whatever we need for our health will be included in these plants that are stimulated with this simple technique of increasing the magnetic field.
Do they, if they're growing bigger roots than normal, are they taking out more nutrients from the soil?
Absolutely, absolutely. Bigger the plant, stronger the plant, no treatment, no weed attack, no. So there
Right.
are a lot of benefits, and they
Yes.
can accumulate more minerals, vitamins, essential oils. We do test with our customer. We do analysis, and you see even another very simple way to measure. It's how long it lasts the plant in the fridge, or when you stock it. They
Mm.
really last 2 or 3 times before
Wow.
to you
Yeah.
No,
see.
no, no, not than in England. In England, they are so fake that they can actually last for 3, 4, 5 months without going off.
Like
But
mommy's
that's it's because it's too much on the other side.
Oh,
plastic
yeah.
plastic food.
Yeah,
All
Yes.
right.
exactly.
Yeah, that's one example. The other, it's the taste, the smell, and again, when you eat, you really feel the good things. We have also Michelin star chef that are using our products because they can leverage on the flavors, on the taste, and it's very important for a chef, for a, if you like to cook, to have real flavors.
Yeah.
Right. So let's move on. These
And
are
don't forget to mention the fact that exactly for what you said, the main very important things on the electroculture is actually having a soil completely free from chemicals and all those things, which is actually is the real basic of electroculture. Otherwise, it actually doesn't almost work we don't have an alive, fully living soil.
Right. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
You can't grow something in a desert if you, even with your electroculture, if you haven't got the nutrients in the soil. So you've got to
Correct.
look up. Yeah. Understood.
There are a lot of scientific researches. These are some example where it's described that um, electrical field or magnetic field and the combination of electromagnetic field can really influence in a positive way the growth of the plant. So what I'm saying, it's totally supported by scientific researches, laboratory experiments, and it's clearly declared and multiple times shown that you can use this energy to have a better harvest, to have a better nutrient factor, and plants are stronger, so they don't need the pest control that usually are employed.
Mm.
Coming up to the next slide, there are documentary that I did with the TV here in Italy. We did 7 documentary including the electropermaculture. So all these are in Italian. So you need to learn Italian, or maybe or you can put the subtitle in English. And we did a lot of this explanation in this documentary line called "The Spirit of the Trees," because trees are the antennas, the natural antennas. They collect the cosmic energy and they go with the roots in the soil and they fertilize with this cycle of night and day. They fertilize, they improve the soil quality. And due to
Did-
the fact that we have removed in the history, we have removed tree deforestation. This is one of the factors that is contributing to reduce the soil fertility.
right.
And that's
Yeah.
why we love to
Yeah.
plant tree. We love to plant tree. Excuse me, Richard. Add.
And I was going to ask you. You know, you talked about the documentary there, and it sort of goes out to the general public. Do you get much pushback from people? Are they skeptical about what you're discovering and what you're showing and teaching?
Yeah, there are, of course, because this is so new. But when you show the results, there is no discussion.
Yes.
What we can do, what we achieve. And now we have more than 5,000 hectares, that is equivalent to 12,000 acres all around the world. And we have a lot of testimonials, showcases, analysis. So you cannot say anything with the fact that we can show later on with some pictures.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing those. Let's just find
Yes.
where.
Yeah, let's move on. Okay. Uh, to the next slide.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. There
Sure.
we go.
Like I was saying, the trees are so important because they are the
Wow.
best antenna in the planet. So if we remove the tree, we lose fertility. They
Mm.
connect the energy of the sky with the energy of the earth. They can transmute the elements. That's another very important thing. So like they can use CO2 and create oxygen, but they can do a lot of other things with the soil, with the even there are plants that can transform heavy metal. They can convert even radioactivity. We can do a lot of soil transformation of polluted soil, and we can create the right environment for our food. That's very important that
Yes.
we take care of the soil and we plant new trees with respect. so
Absolutely.
so this is one example of tree like free energy and antennas. Moving on to the next. That's another vision. Okay, that's the invisible universe. That's in this case, I've used a little filter invented by a scientist that live in UK. It's called Henry Oldfield, and he wrote a book that it's very interesting called The Invisible Universe. Was
Oh, right.
showing a different view, like photons around trees, photons around people, and that energy is light. So when even when you put your hands, if you do pranotherapy, it was able to make movie showing the energy flow going in, coming out, and you see in this picture the tree is emitting all the rainbow of colors.
Wow. Yes.
It's kind of
Fa-
aura of the tree.
yes. Fascinating.
So we don't see, but now with this technique we can see. And this is another example what bees can see. They
Yep.
have a different angle again. So they can see if this flower is good for pollen, or if there has been already enough bees, they don't go. So again, there's a world that we don't see, but we can understand, we can feel. and we can work to see all this subtle energy that are
Yes.
so important in our food, in our life, in the water, in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Gosh.
so there are many reasons. Okay, this is a list of reason why the environment is so changed. The first reason it's the human. We have made a lot of change. We have transformed the environment. You can imagine 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300, it was really different. So it's human transformation. So air and sky are not the same. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, we had different sky. Even 50 years ago, not so.
Yes. Well, we know
Rain,
that.
Now even we can even say 20 years ago. To be
Yes.
honest.
They're ramping. I mean, every day it's a different sky these days, depending on whether the pilots have been out or not.
Yeah.
a rain and water cycle is changed a lot. So rains, you can collect a bucket of rainwater, make analysis, and you see
Yes.
you can collect. I do a lot of tests because I do a lot of analysis continuously for my customer of the soil, of the water, because it's so important to work on soil and water. And three that are the best antenna to energize the place have been removed. We have cut the trees continuously. We have implemented monoculture cultivation, industrial agriculture. So there are a lot of externalities that have changed the environment, in particularly all the chemical stuff like pesticides, fertilizers. They reduce the conductivity and the paramagnetism of the soil.
Yeah.
That is the secret of life. So
Right.
we have depleted completely the soil. It's almost dead. When I do analysis, I see, imagine there's a range from 0 to 100 of energy life. The majority of the soil that we analyze are between 5 to 10% of energy life.
Gosh.
Andrew's project it was is a 5% energy life. He was shocked because he lives in a countryside. It's a garden where there is no actual heavy farming, so but still his life's level is on a 5%. He was shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
what is coming from the sky, the rain, it's plenty of heavy metals. This create insulation and microorganism, microrhiza, all the living soil cannot survive in this condition. So we need to add, again, we need to add these elements to recreate the primordial level of soil energy, and this will help a lot the plant grow. Then we have a lot of other externality like electrosmog, OGM seed. Okay, we can continue for hours, but I don't want to talk
Sure.
about this. I want to show you the solution. So let's move on. So very important, work with the soil. Okay, we need to recreate the living soil like
Yes.
the microbiota of the human. We have our immune system inside our digestive, the microbiota, and the soil needs to have exactly the same. Mm?
Yeah.
So if you understand, it's so important to, again, create living soil with minerals. We add minerals, stones, so plants can collect this. We add energy, we add mycorrhizae, effective microorganisms, and all this activity rebuild the soil, create paramagnetism, and creates the environment that after 3, 4 years is able to auto regenerate. This can digest heavy metals, radioaction, everything, and then plants can grow freely like 100 years ago, 200 years ago. And that's the first step.
Right.
Take,
Yeah.
take care of the soil, create the soil that can digest even whatever it comes from the sky. And then we can work with energy, electroculture to speed up all the processes. We can move on. And
And
then there,
sorry, Andrea, to interrupt you. One very parenthesis, very quick. How important is the doing the opposite that we've been taught so far? We everything is we doing is made on a non-digging, no digging principle.
Yes.
So whatever you be find a big farm with massive plunge tractor, they just keep killing the soil. Literally, that's what's happened every time.
Somebody told me an interesting statistic, and I've mentioned it in the show before, that if you plough a field once, with a big plough and what have you, it takes 100 years for that to get the soil back. If you did nothing, it would
Correct.
take 100 years to repair the damage. And yet, you go out in the countryside, you see these tractors, and it looks quite romantic from a distance, but you
Yeah.
can't hear the screams of the microbiome
No,
being
no.
turfed up and the death that's going on.
yeah,
Especially with the wrong tools they get used when you introduce steel in the soil all the electromagnetic balances they get
Yes. Yeah.
destroyed. So
Um,
this is
they are
it's
destroyed because all the devices are made in iron, and the iron has a plus charge, electrical charge. But
oh right, iron
the
has a
soil
plus charge.
the
yeah,
soil is minus, so you are changing completely the magnetic field, the electrical field of the soil, and this will contribute to decrease the fertility. You are losing fertility even with this approach, not only
So
chemical stuff.
that's why sometimes you see people using copper spades and things like that, as opposed to the iron ones or
Yeah,
correct,
steel or
correct,
exactly.
steel.
correct.
That was discovered by Victor Schuberger. It's a very
Right.
interesting discoveries. And
Yeah.
there are farms in Austria using only copper or bronze tools, and they have the fertility that is 2 or 3 times higher than any other place.
Gosh. Gosh. So that's amazing. Right. Let's.
Yeah. So one technique, very powerful, it's geotherapy. Geotherapy is the opportunity to add back in the soil minerals, but in
y-
particular minerals from stones. Yeah, excuse
mm,
me. Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I mean,
that,
in the old days, they used to put lime and chalk onto farms in certain parts of the country here,
yeah.
in order to change the pH.
All right, then we can create fertility adding basalt. That is the most common stone in the world because next to volcano or thermal area, there is basalt. Basalt is used also to build the roads. And the basalt is incredible. It's bringing a lot of mineral, but it's bringing the energetic part,
Right.
paramagnetism. The paramagnetism that is the secret of life. With the paramagnetism, you can increase the speed up. You can speed up the process of bacteria, microbes, worms to increase the fertility more. And
Right.
we can use dolomite, we can use quartz, lime. Okay, but
Mm,
all these techniques are very ancient, very inexpensive, and they are so powerful. So that's one of the technique
right.
described in this book, geotherapy. It's so cool. Very-
Hmm.
and this is one of the technique we are using with Andrew and Francesco
Yeah,
in the cylinder. You can move in the next slide. It's okay. Um, and now we can see some testimonial. Like I say, we realized in the last 5 years, 500 large scale farm project from 1 to 120 hectares, and we have overall 5,000 hectares of experience or 12,000 acres. And we have a lot of private project like a small garden because everyone can start tomorrow in a small garden or even in a balcony. You can cultivate something or indoor. You can make your sprouts. You can really do a lot of things using
Mm.
the energetic parts. So
Fantastic.
And what you just said about the balcony or indoor is very interesting because anyway, the soils they are so badly damaged that we normally start doing a raised bed. So already we are already starting to produce something out of the soil because the soil is too bad. So while we're waiting for the soil to go back through our techniques to go back to the original life, we use these other ways, which is like a raised bed. So if you talk about raised bed, then you can make them literally wherever you like.
Yes. Yes. No, that makes a lot of sense. So you're using the raised bed whilst you're preparing the land soil, and then you can move and
Correct.
grow. Yeah.
That's what we done in Andrew's project. And exactly that. We built one, two, three, four, five, six, seven raised beds, and we started from there.
Wow.
and
And
then,
the,
but excuse me. No, let's go.
yes. No. Go, please.
Yeah,
Go on.
the idea to use the raised bed is so cool because you introduce real things. You know where it comes, the compost. You know the wood
Yes.
chips where it comes. You try to use things that you have nearby, even manure or the rocks, and then you can create easily the configuration that you like with the different pH. If you want to cultivate strawberries or blackberries and you need the acidic soil, you make only a plot or a couple of raised bed for this. Then you like carrots, you make a different configuration, or you want to grow only potatoes, you make the potato raised bed. So you can really create an environment from scratch with the right characteristic to have a better performance since the beginning. Huh?
Hmm.
And
No. That.
it's
Yeah.
quite interesting to see how we can change the acidity of the soil just using paramagnetic stones, rocks. So
Gosh.
through the use of energy, literally.
Yes. Wow. Oh, very exciting.
Yeah, sure. And we move on. And so that's an example of Domenico and Antonella. They wrote books. They did a workshop with me, and they had super production in these raised little beds, north, south, with an antenna below, and they had a super production of zucchini and spinach. You can turn the next slide, please. And these are
Oh,
spinach.
wow.
They grow big, like a hand, even more.
More.
And that was described in the Christopher book 100 years ago, electrocultural patents. So
Wow. Look at that.
we replicate the spinach for super papaya, braccio di ferro. Uh,
Gosh,
uh,
that would fill your fridge if if you have one of those and you're putting it in your fridge, a big spinach like that, it just fill up the thing. You'd need bigger fridges.
yeah, you can dehydrate or you eat only one leaf. It's
Hmm.
enough.
So that is amazing. Yeah.
I'm gonna have one spinach tonight.
Yes.
Then you
Fun.
can move on to the next one. Again, this is a student of our academy and use three techniques. Pyramid charge of the seeds. So you can energize the seeds inside a copper pyramid. Then we add the geotherapy in the soil and an antenna to boost the energy. And you see this leaf is a couple of ants, even
Mm.
bigger than the previous one.
Wow. That is that. I mean, that is a monster spinach.
And
And
it's
also is know
fantastic.
how big they are. The main things is how they are inside,
Yes.
what they actually have inside as a nutrition, the nutritional part.
Yes. So
Because
that it's otherwise, if it's just water inside, then it's of no use to anybody. But if it's got all your nutrients, so you're serving one of those for
Yeah,
two people, one leaf for two
kind
people, but you're still getting the same amount as if you'd had a whole spinach in the old-fashioned way.
correct.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the plant is so strong that is not attacked by any pest. That's another
Wow.
incredible. When you are
Yeah.
strong, the pests are attacking only the weak
Yes.
plants, like human. They attack the weak human.
Yes. That's right. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And so then your crop, as you say, they fight off the enemy, and they're there ready for you to pick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we did also some spectrum analysis, photonic spectrum, and you can see that these plants emits more lights. They really
Wow.
can stock inside more nutrients, but even more energy and lights that we can measure.
That
So
is incredible.
let's
Yeah.
move on, just to give some more example. If you forget, you go on holiday, you forget your zucchini, then you have a 1 meter
Oh,
zucchini. That's a zucchini.
oh my goodness! Look at that.
So that's one plant that creates so many fruits, and they've been on holiday for a couple of weeks, coming back, and they
Yes,
found this monster zucchini.
that is incredible. Yeah.
Okay, then you can have a 1 kilo tomato, or you see the zucchini plants, how big they can grow. Everything is bigger with this energy because
Yes.
plants probably they go back to the prehistorical memories, like before, like in the
Yes.
dinosaur era.
Absolutely. That, I mean, that is astonishing. Imagine coming home with a tomato that big.
Yeah,
God.
that's
Yeah, and
good.
what is I think what is very interesting about this is what Andrea just mentioned. We go back to the prehistoric times. Is what we can see and observe that also GMO's product at the moment. Then once they're taking electroculture, basically in 1, 2, 3 generation, they tend to go back to the original state. So it's obvious that there is some still all the DNA held in their essence,
Yes.
and this one it tends to come back.
So that's a very interesting point, because that sort of suggests the importance of getting this going now before we have too many GM modified seeds. That then, what are you growing if you use electroculture, and using heritage seeds to grow the crops that have that DNA history.
Yeah, and with these seeds, we have the best results because they are more, let's say, natural. They
Yeah.
have the right vibration for you in the place, and they respond immediately to primordial code, primordial energies. And with GMO, sometimes we have good result, but sometimes no, nothing, because they probably change so much the structure of the DNA. They have made a combination like a
Yes.
Frankenstein seeds. And this case, there are bad results, no results, because as move
Yes.
forward. So we normally use ancient seeds, local
Ancient
ancient
seeds. Yes.
seeds to have the
Absolutely.
best
And
results.
that makes absolute sense, because the modern seeds have only been, well, they've been modified for soils that are depleted in anything, I guess.
For soil,
Whereas,
for pest.
yeah, for
to,
and they have very little.
to survive the chemicals.
Well, exactly. That's right. To survive all the petrochemicals that people have thrown on them. So no, that's amazing. So there we go. How about that as a
Yeah,
tomato?
and let's go on so we can see more. This is a mint in June, 1 meter 57 centimeters. So
Wow,
you
that's
can make
mint.
Mint, yes.
mint, big
Yes.
like a human. And he tended in October 1 meter 75. So
My God.
uh,
Now, mint is quite invasive, isn't it? I mean, it does spread and grow, so you'd really have to contain it, because it's like a triffid plant then.
yeah, and that was growing like crazy with
Yeah,
this
I bet that
technique.
smelt good.
Yeah, super smell.
Yes.
We have analysis, and there are like 3 times essential oils more
Yes,
than the usual one. So
that is staggering.
so
Even
so
the mojitos are much better.
yeah, absolutely. That's in Tuscany. She's supplying the mint to the bar for the mojito in
Wow,
Tuscany. Good.
fantastic.
Let's move on. That's big tomato, big
Oh my
onions.
God, look at the size of those onions.
Yes.
3.3 kilos. So one onion
You
for
don't need
for
to go down the gym, do you, to get your muscles if you're lifting up those great big things? Wow.
You just do some
Yeah,
gardening and that's it.
and this guy Richard in France, he has a lot of records, and when he goes, he take the prize. Okay, what how would you do this kind of vegetable? I'm using electroculture. Ah, what is electroculture? Nobody knows.
Mm,
So it's fun. He is winning a lot of records every year since 5 6 years now. It's
gosh.
Wha-
incredible.
yeah, 1,400 grams tomato. I think it
That,
speaks for itself.
yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's move on. This is my garden. There are on the right, there are dandelion leaf, 45, 55 centimeters. So very huge. Normally they are 25, 30. And the other is sage leaf, 16 by 6. So like like a bistec, like a stick.
Thank you.
Wow.
And
And does it affect the weeds though? You know, if you're growing stuff and your weeds then are twice or three times the size, have you got a major problem weeding your beds?
yeah, so it's not selective energy.
Right.
It's available for everybody. Yeah. Then
Yes.
when you do raised bed, okay, you start to cover and you can control the weeds. That's in this approach.
Yes.
When you have raised bed, you can clean and they will
Easily.
do like wood chips. They will be converted in a soil energy. So you need to take care. And this is a fava bean plantation. The plants grown 2 meters, so higher than a man, and
Wow.
and we had from 3 to 5 times the production. You see the size of the beans,
Gosh.
bigger,
Yeah.
normal on right, electroculture on left.
That
Uh,
is staggering. Yeah. That's a hearty meal.
yeah,
It's just in one of those pods. That's incredible.
and that's cabbages. The
Oh my
wonder.
goodness. Yeah.
So more than 100 years ago, Christoph Loy did 11 kilos cabbages, but then we repeated. Alana in 2022, Richard, with this technique, we can really have wonderful
Mm.
and very big and very nutrients horticultural products like this.
Yes. I'd like to see your kitchen utensils now. Must be more like swords to get the uh, through the veggies.
Yeah, and then so you don't need the big space. For this
Yeah.
reason, you have enough with a limited number of plants, and you
Yeah.
can cultivate
That is
in.
staggering.
Yeah, good. Move on.
I
So
I would say that in a normal average garden, house garden in UK, you could almost produce all the food all around the year that the needs for the family. Obviously, we're
That.
talking about veggies and we're not talking
Yes.
about meat. It's
Yes.
completely different. But when you talk about quantity produced, yeah, possibly I think 100, square meter is enough to have
yeah,
already
sure. Maybe
good production.
you can add 3 4 chicken, and then you
As
have the
well, as
eggs
well. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I did it. So
or rabbit if you want. So just to make a little recap, I prefer to use the word energetic agriculture or vibration agriculture because electroculture is strictly connected to electricity, and in reality, we have a lot of other components like magnetism, geobiology, structure, water. So we use a lot of energetic water, soil, paramagnetism, human power. Okay, we can also go deeper in this topic, and we use radiesthesia to investigate electroculture, music. We can stimulate plant growth with music, with lights, with frequencies, and there are approximately 50 techniques that we can teach and we can put in place to create more abundance.
Wow. That is incredible.
Then
Yeah.
we combine, we create the right mix. Like this is a permanent bed with pyramids, so beets can grow like crazy. and or even you can relax and recharge yourself. And,
Yes, I had a chap who makes those pyramid frames on the show, and he was telling me how relaxing it is by just sitting inside that pyramid because of the different frequencies, and it is amazing. It's something that people are slowly beginning to realize. There's more to this than just a quirky type of thing. It's actually and of course, when you see the size of the vegetables that you're showing here, you just think, golly, people will be rushing to learn this, I hope.
yeah, and these are a project made by my students, and even Francesco is teaching, helping how to make these pyramids, how to make in
I
your garden, your
I
place.
build them. We build them. We have a workshop here in England, which I'm setting up. So is a full support to the Italians one. And yeah, we build all those devices that they get built here, or otherwise they get built in Italy, and then they get sent over here to UK. So there is full availability of all those tools.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then we prefer to teach. If you go in the
Mm.
next slide, we teach to the people, and this is what the student did after our workshop. They create,
Wow.
this is a permaculture garden with many guys working around. They create this pyramid structure with a raised bed and the fire in the center. So at the end of the day, you can chat, you can relax, you can meditate and recharge. It's not only making food, but even enjoy, relax, recharge,
Yes.
share stories. And this is so cool when you see that people create experiments and gives you very nice feedback. It's so enthusiastic for me. I'm very happy to see practical application and the results that comes again and again.
Fantastic.
So then, if you want to make a lot of carrots again, this is the way with pyramid charge, very big carrots or other vegetables, Richard, other
Yes.
records. Then we move on. These are a list of 10 reasons why I like it. One is because we can produce more in less
Yeah.
space. We have plants that can grow by 30%, even 300% in some cases. Gradually, you reduce to zero all the treatment because the plants are so strong, you don't need any treatment.
Mm.
When you do the geotherapy and the rocks, the microbes, in 3 years, you can establish auto pilot soil that will regenerate automatically. So you don't need to fertilize anymore. It's
Mm.
you do a strong startup, and then the plants goes with the energy. So you spend less time to regenerate the soil in small scale, in large scale, and so there are many reasons, and also the installation are forever installation because when you
Mm.
put the stones in the soil, when you arrive at the right level, you don't have to do anything for 100 years. Or when you put the telluric fertilizer or the manures like acupuncture of the soil, this is a perennial installation, like in the stone circle. There is a special energy in the
Yeah.
place. And then
Wow.
we started at the beginning was a little experiments for 3,000 square meter for small garden, but now we have a very large installation all over the world and many different cultivars, wine, cheese, cows, rabbit, chickens, kiwi, pears, apples, cereals. I have a lot of customer, and we are even certifying the products, not only because they have really superior nutrient factors, minerals, vitamin, polyphenols. They are so powerful for our health. that we want to emphasize and to showcase our customers' investments and experience.
Fantastic. How about that?
Yeah, so it's a big subject, but we started with this introduction. Maybe we can go deeper in the future, but Francesco is there to is the first seed in UK,
Yes.
and now is sprouting, and we want to spread in all the country and where there is the right frequencies, where there is the good right resonance, the seeds will go and will expand for sure. Eh?
That sounds amazing. And what would be great is to follow this up in due course, is to come up to see you, Francesco, and film you in the environment and show some of the harvests that you have, in real life, as it were.
I think we should organize probably. We go in Italy to see Andrea because here at the moment, unfortunately, there is not really much. Andrews one is the very first project we have been starting, and it's actually
Yes.
quite a small scale. But it has been used. I got a lot of people with their eyes on it, and actually everyone is waiting. Many
Yes,
people
I
are
bet.
waiting to see working. But if it would be a good thing, so we could organize a trip in Italy, so you could come and see firsthand, like a proper real.
Yes.
Installation working is absolutely up to that.
But of course, I'm sure that you're going to get lots of inquiries from the viewers as well, and so I hope that they'll keep me informed how it's going, and they can perhaps send in photographs of their gardens or their small holdings and how they've laid it out and what they're doing, and share the response of their experiments and what have you, which will be fantastic to inspire more people to get into this.
Absolutely, because basically this is what Andrea is doing. Andrea is, I don't know how many thousand of miles, kilometers you do per month. He's always around doing project and involving actually, it's this subject is so beautiful and intriguing that every even customers they become just friends mate and that they just
Yes.
put in and they just keep giving you feedbacks because they get excited
Yeah.
seeing just
And,
life flourishing and there's a
presumably, Andrea, you must see the new people who do this, and then after a year or so, you must see their health improving as well because they're eating these wonderful plants full of such good nutrients.
Yeah, that's correct. And what I like it's that they see even people evolution because when you start to be more conscious, more connected to the nature, respectful, you see really a big improvement. And we have a lot of solutions that are possible, and we just need to start. We need to
Yes.
start, see the results, spread, increase, and more people can do the same. When we regenerate the soil, we bring the energy, we create bioenergetic landscapes, garden. We can really improve our life. And
Absolutely.
and
And
I've never met anyone that as soon as they get in touch with these things, they get a little knowledge, and then they would say, no, I don't like it. Say, okay, no, it just doesn't exist. That is amazing. Because
yes,
yeah, and then
everyone who gets involved, that's it. They just fell in love for the subject and they never leave.
it's
especially
amazing.
when you have very good results because we drive people with experience. I did a lot of even bad results at the beginning. I've made a lot of mistakes, but now we know a lot of tips and tricks that what we teach. So when you work with the soil, with the water, with the seeds, with the plants, with the consciousness, there is a big world to discover, and you discover the power how you can influence the environment. You want to know more. You want to do
Mm.
more. You go back like in the childhood to be curious to okay, let me try this, let me engage with the plants, with the seeds, let's see the grow. And we see in a week, 10 days, we have seen the potatoes growing, the seed sprouting, so you can see effect even after 1 week, 2 weeks in horticulture especially. And
Well,
that's cool.
listen, thank you so much for coming along and telling us all about this. I'm sure the audience are very excited. And as you said earlier, I'll put the links in the description so people can contact you. And if they're in the UK, of course, Francesco is going to be your man. If you're in Italy, then follow the website. Presumably that all your links will be on there. And I'll put that in the description. It's been absolutely fascinating. Of course, the what is it they say, the proof is in the pudding. So you need to get going, and as you said, just start, even if it's small, on your windowsill or in a little area, to see the magic of electroculture and all the stuff that you're doing. It's absolutely it looks fascinating. I can't wait to get going myself.
Sure, you will be our testimonial too, like
Believe,
Andrew.
absolutely.
Thank
I'll be there.
you.
I'll be there assisting you,
Yeah,
100%.
brilliant. Ah, wonderful. Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. What do you make of that in this time where they're telling us that there might be some food shortages, and we know we've got to get growing on our own and do something about it? This is most likely the answer. Get the soil back to its strength, and then use these techniques to grow super vegetables with the wonderful nutrients that you need to improve your life. What more could you want? And sit down at the end of the day in your pyramid or by the fire and relax. It sounds perfect to me. Andreas and Francesco, thank you so much for being my wonderful guests today.
Thank you very
I've really learned a lot. And I will be back with more monologues and super interviews in due course. But from us all, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.